Welcome home, dearest Brava baby, to Do You Believe in Brava, the interview series where I, Talia Brava, personal growth leader of the next generation, meet with stars from across the spiritual personal world to try their practices, feel their vibe, and most importantly, ask them, do you believe in Brava? In Brava, in Brava, in Brava, in Brava.
Don't we love technology? See, the thing is, right now, while we think, oh, we're just wasting time, it's kind of boring getting the tech savvy stuff, there's someone from the past who's time traveling whose like mind is blown right now.
Right.
By this tech experience.
All right. This is definitely a form of magic.
We're here to experiment.
Okay.
Especially in the bedroom.
This is great.
So I'm going to introduce you badly, and then you can like come in and be like, that was the worst introduction ever. This is my dear friend Blair Bodin. Actually, it's the first time you've only known my alter through the comedy world. We'll call it comedy in quotations because some people would consider it like weird performance art. So Blair is someone that my alter doth know, and this is our first time connecting in the astral plane. Blair is Sisterbride. She is an artist. She is an activist. Does she go by she? Do you go by she?
I do.
Okay, great.
She or they, yeah.
Oh, I'm woke. And also an astrologer, which is super fascinating to me. So I want to hear, as a means of introduction to this cult community, which already knows you deeply, feels your energy completely, what would you say, let's hear your origin story of your magical existence on this plane now. Like, how did you come into astrology and art and activism? You can start anywhere you want. You can be as lengthy or as pithy as you so choose.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Now I feel totally unprepared for this endeavor.
Hey, listen, look me in the eyes. You know, because you lived it.
That's right. Did I though? You know, I like to recut my past a lot into a better story so that I can live a fulfilling life. In the past, though, the real story is that I was raised on daycare and fast food outside of Chicago. And I was the only Jewish person in my school in a pretty anti-Semitic town. So
wow.
I was definitely always told that I was intrinsically flawed from the beginning. And of course, I had some friends who were people of color and noticed how much I could get away with my white skin. People would get to know me before they realized I was Jewish and started treating me differently. And
like living in both worlds in a weird way. There was like a sort of middle ground place.
Yeah. So, I was still a bit of a loner. So a lot of my time was like spent just, in my parents' basement making art. And so I kind of simultaneously was building this practice as an artist while also noticing like the society I was living in. And it kind of all coagulated into who I am and the things I'm passionate about.
And isn't that the mystery of Brava, that like the blessing of being sort of, pushed to the side, not fully accepted? You go into your little like metaphorical basement and you become an artist. And that's the pain and that is like the pain and the beauty of like the artistic path and the spiritual path, which I feel like are deeply connected. Like there's a reason that people go and sit in meditation or go and like create art. And it's usually not because everyone thinks they're the coolest and their boobs are huge and boys are trying to fuck them all day.
Yeah, it's true. And it's interesting that a lot of artists, to be an artist in society means to basically like be on the outskirts in a way, because I feel like, like white society is starved of creativity and they're just so connected to the scarcity mentality, which like destroys the imagination. Mm-hmm. And so, a lot of artists find this little oasis of their own craft.
1,000%. I mean, what is mostly missing from white art is the struggle, as they say. The struggle creates beauty. And I would also say, too, truthfully, what you just said, like being accepted by the matrix. Like if you have like the type A gene, and you can like get like you have the face that people want to fucking hire because of our racist system. you can like survive the matrix better, and that might mean you have less of an opportunity to like fringe society.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think that's the danger too, though. Well, you know, it's like the outside artist is so glamorized and actually perpetuates the terrible story that artists have to suffer in order to make good art. Also, that we don't need money to make the art. Like people don't want to pay for feelings or like, you know, artists suffer so much from white supremacy, just as anyone else.
It's capitalism. I mean, white supremacy is a factor of capitalism. Like people place themselves higher than others so that they could use them to make money.
Yeah.
Well, we figured it all out. So, darling, I want to hear when you think about your unique combination of skills that you've acquired through life experience, through like your just actual like divine embodiment, like what just happened when you landed here. Would you say your nexus point, like artist, activist, astrologer, like your specific, never before seen flower that's existing right here, what do you feel like your best use in this moment of such big change and acceleration and mind-blowing things happening? What do you feel like your best usage on a day-to-day basis is?
Oh, I love this. Well, I tend to live my life like very grateful for like being in active participation with synchronicity. And, you know, everything that's happening outside of me is a reflection of the symmetry inside of me. And I think right now, the world is kind of going through an accelerated healing process, which always starts with like excavating this like gross like sewage of like toxicity, and having to, in order to heal, you have to like bring that up and look at it.
Yeah, like a face rash. I've had many.
Yes.
It always comes along with like some advancement in my psyche, but then I was like on my face.
Yeah, it all matters. Whatever you're not expressing, your body will. So I see this as an opportunity to do that process for myself. You know, be courageous and going to those places that, you know, I don't like to go, that are like shadowy. You know, I think that we get trapped in like wanting to be good, wanting to be liked, wanting to like live our lives through our ego, but it's only like casting, when we like try to be so good, we're like casting just a greater shadow on the ways that we're not good.
1,000%. And then we come at it from this like embarrassing, like, I mean, can we talk about the like I take responsibility video? Like what a perfect embodiment of like a bunch of actors like trying to be good, and it ended up just feeling cringy because it was like we can see the ego, right? So I don't know if you're aware of this, Blair, but like Brava, as you know, I had to bring in Nada Dismantler of Hyper Ego Brava in order to even have a platform anymore, because the ego shit has no place in the actual fucking heart-centered work.
I hear you. I mean, I don't think we're supposed to like just destroy the ego, but I think we have to stop like assuming that that's all we are, is like the ego agenda.
And being willing to do your shadow work means like that's ego dismantling. It's not destroying, but it's like you have to sit with, I'm calling it call yourself out culture. I'm sick of call out culture. Call yourself out, bitches. So, Cutie, I wanted to talk to you about this idea because I saw on your Instagram, I'm not an astrologer, but I just like binge all your content. Like I'm obsessive. And I saw on your Insta, you posted eclipse season and eclipse moments aren't the best time for setting intention, but more letting go.
Yeah.
So what did you let anything go? Do you feel a shift of anything having let go? And let's hear about it.
Yeah. So yeah, unlike a regular new moon, an eclipse new moon, you know, it's so intense. Also, it's very shadowy. So often it's not a good time to be setting goals or like planting new seeds like you would a normal new moon. So yeah, I was just sitting back the past few days and just letting it tell me what it wants. Mm-hmm. And so many things came up because I have the new moon eclipse was in Cancer. So I have Cancer in my house of friends.
Ooh.
So I was really, I came to a moment of, I haven't talked to one of my friends. We had a falling out about a year ago. And I finally came to a moment where I was like, I think I'm ready to apologize.
Wow.
Even though like, I feel like I did nothing wrong and and I feel like so many things like I'd like her to apologize for, like, that doesn't matter. Like I need to just like release us from this mutual pain and just, step up.
And isn't that the Cancer energy, like holding space for the other's feelings? It's not about the story, it's the feelings there. Would you say?
Yes, and I think so is defensiveness. You're trying to protect yourself in the way that like it's the sign of the mother. It wants to like build this fortress around like the baby so it can grow. So I think that's also like being conscious of how to nurture without also like walling people off.
Yes. And also the gestation period of ourselves. Like we don't give ourselves space for that enough. That maybe you did need it sounds like you did. You needed that year to gestate with those feelings. And like, we can't just like, So did you take action or has it all been internal at this point with this friend?
It's all been internal because I'm waiting for the moon to go into Leo tomorrow to get out of the realm of the eclipse sign.
Yes. Well, I'm a big fan of the Leo King. He came on my live the other day.
Are you serious? That's funny. He's got an interesting reputation in the astrological community.
Well, I like him because he's a bad boy. Like I'm a bad girl. Like I do personality. I do spirituality with my clit out,
Yeah, you guys are made for each other.
Oh, I hope so. Well, let's talk about made for each other. It's no secret that if you have ever encountered you and your boy walking around town, you guys are literally telepathizing all day long. What is your experience with like calling in love and telepathizing with your boyfriend and anything that's coming up for you that you might want to share from your personal experience here?
I'm the type of person that like holds on tight, but like also lets go lightly. Hold on tight, let go light.
Gorgeous. That's attraction, isn't it? Like that's how we do.
Yeah, and I think that's like love and freedom being available. I mean, I'm so down with like serial monogamy. I love just, especially as an astrologer, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like I get to dive in and see how this person's chart is activating my chart. And it's like this research experiment.
I love that.
Also, I love the intensity.
Yes. It's what was that?
Yes. I just love like growing exponentially with someone and then like taking it and like, I don't know, like I like endings too, like moving on with what we've learned and like using it somewhere else.
Yes, yeah. I love this. When you met Brian, what was the let's ask that question then. What do you feel like he's activating in you, like in your chart and in your psyche? What's been the biggest like shift that he's helped alchemize in you?
Oh, sure. Well, I'm a Virgo rising and he's a Pisces rising. So our risings are flipped.
Okay.
So I would say, he really soothes my control, like a neurotic, needs to be perfect kind of side of me, with the great. Kind of wishy-washy, like let's just like cuddle and like not think too hard.
I love that. My ex-boyfriend was like, he would give me what I call like, instead of a pep talk, like I don't even know what I would call it. I forget because I've like totally erased his memory from my mind. But it was like the opposite of a pep talk. It was like a chill talk. Like it was like wake up in the morning. I'm like, ah, and he's like, you're okay. Your day hasn't started yet. It's okay.
Yeah, it's good to have that.
Mm-hmm. It really is, and it opens
there, yeah.
And it also, like, I think the empowering thing to remember is it's really opening up something in yourself that then you can actually embody. Like when that relationship ended, I started like coming on time places because he always came on time, and I was like, you know what? In order to not feel so heartbroken that he's not here, I'm gonna start embodying some of the things I loved about him.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes you don't realize what someone's done to you until you can be away from them and like try it on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they're doing it too much when they're with you, so you can't like use it really.
Yes, and it's almost like it almost becomes like a lazy muscle. Like for me, I can certainly slip into baby. And I'm just like, oh, you do all those things for me. And just to have that intention for my next relationship, which obviously is going to like astral project us home because I'm cosmosexual. So I have to have my full human girl orgasm November 3rd, 2020. And then we're going to birth Providence on Earth, just to catch you up. So my next boy has to be the man who, or woman or alien, who can unlock this whole situation so that we have Providence on Earth and it's not like the Apocalypse.
Yeah, we do need some Providence on Earth for sure right now.
When you look at what you see as a potential, because of course I think there is always duality, right? There's always the potential for the worst or the best, or maybe someplace in the middle. What do you see a potential that we have in this moment of incredible change? What, as a society, as a collective, do you see as a portal opening potential for us? That's the positive.
I feel like, one, I feel like we're starting to dissolve polarities. And starting to accept that, like, yeah, I think bad things are going to have to happen in order for good things to happen. And like that, like weird, that paradox.
Yeah.
And so it's shadow work. Yes. And I think people are just like defying their fears and like realizing how unhelpful fear is. Like, to me, I'm like, death is actually, or like fear is worse than death, right?
Yeah.
Because death is
1,000%.
this expansive thing.
Yeah, death is you welcome into infinity.
Right.
Into the pool.
And fear is this totally, like it shrinks your existence. And I think people are just fed up of like just trying to stay safe and are actually taking risks and like getting to know their unknown parts of themselves, getting to know like this system that's been like we've been ignorantly living and invisible to this whole time.
They're going down into the basement because shit got weird in high school. So they're
my God.
okay, I'm gonna go make art in the basement and sit with myself and actually explore this shit.
You're a genius. Thank you for wrapping that up. Yeah.
People calling me smart, that means a lot. Darling, I want to ask you about oh, you gave me a compliment and now I'm just gonna like replay. You give me a so what were we just we're on the edge of something beautiful. Oh yes. So I rabbit hole. I love to rabbit hole. I'm a proud rabbit holer. No one else, any Brava babies, they're only allowed to binge my content, so they don't get to rabbit hole, but I do it as a sacrifice. I search, I go to all the corners. I love it. I watch both sides. I send some of my Earth Brother videos. He thinks I'm losing my mind. I buy him David Icke books. I do it all, boo. I don't take anything off the table. I explore because I like not knowing, and I feel there's wisdom in fucking not knowing. That's what she said as my guide telling me this morning. Thank you, darling.
Yeah.
What with this moment of like so much information and so much counter information, and literally they're calling it post-truth. Like I didn't name that. How do you know truth? How do you feel truth? And yeah, what's your litmus test for this is true?
I know truth to be ever shifting, I suppose. I know truth as the trickster. So I'm always challenging it. And like, there's moments something really feels good. And I know that I must also understand and celebrate its opposite. But I think, like maybe there's this ultimate truth, which I think is like freedom and unlocking yourself so that you can like pass the key on to someone else.
I love that. Pass the key. Oh my gosh. So it's like you become free, and then you, in that doing so, you're liberating others, permission to liberate.
Absolutely. And you can't like you can't like unlock the for them, right?
No,
like that's
no.
white saviorism.
No,
you have
can't.
to just be like, here, do what you can with this. It's your
that is the shit. Yeah. One of the things, like I had to burn my beliefs yesterday because like all my witch friends told me to for the eclipse. Like I was talking about letting go. These shit would not. I was burning all day. I was at the stove trying. They wouldn't burn. But one of them was this attachment to having people understand. It's like when you start having these big ahas. It's very capitalistic. It's like, I got something and I want everyone to know it and see it and feel it too. Then we can all be together with it. But it's like, no, like we have no responsibility and no ability to actually have someone's aha for them. Like you said, doing it by example, I love like the fanny pack metaphor of like Sarah Jessica Parker started wearing a fanny pack, and then you could just like do a weird thing at school too. You could make a strange fashion choice because she was willing to take it on the head.
Yeah, I feel true about that with the top bun too, right?
I know, I was saying I stole the look.
Like we're both onto that.
We are onto it. Okay, darling.
Yeah.
When you look at the astrology of this moment, how is it helping you navigate it? And is there anything that you want to share? I know that's a broad question.
Oh yeah. I mean, I guess I'm seeing the like long haul picture, which is like we're in the deconstruction, destruction part of humanity and the astrology. And you know, like the alignment that happened in January of this year has been consistently, it has consistently correlated with like war, with plague, with, you know, collective destitution. And so like astrologers have seen this coming for years, and we just didn't really know exactly how.
Yes.
And now we know, and we know that it's bringing all this stuff up, that it's like X-raying everything we weren't able to see before. And it's all about the Capricorn things we're not seeing, which is like basically, you know, capitalism and like power and control. And soon, especially December 21st, when Saturn and Jupiter are conjunct, which is known as the Great Conjunction, which happens every 20 years. And it happens only in it switches signs every 200 years. So it's a pretty huge event. And it's going to be happening in Aquarius, which, I mean, that Capricorn to Aquarius shift. Aquarius is all about like dispersing information. I mean, it's basically socialism.
Wow.
And ideas and concept instead of like physical material life.
Yes.
So I am looking forward to that. I know there's going to be some pain and some destruction before then, but
yes. Well, is there, like, speaking of polarity, when I think of Capricorn, I think of like friends of mine who are like really about the rules, and I'm like, get off my ass. But I know there's beauty in everything. So what is the beautiful gift of Capricorn as we sort of like dismantle her, or like she shifts?
Yeah, right. Thank you for that. There's things to love about Capricorn, which is like they're extremely good at creating durable structure and wanting consistency, and like it's good to have a Capricorn in the room to make sure you have walls to your house. So
do you feel like that will be rather than a passing the mic, would it be more of like a pass the key, and it's like Aquarius and Capricorn are going to be like more harmoniously like ebb and flow of life more?
I love where you're going with this. I mean, Capricorn and Aquarius are both ruled by the same planet, which is Saturn. So there is a common language that they speak, which is structure, right? Capricorn is of the like foundational structure that's already existing in society, and Aquarius is more about seeing what's already existing and reconstructing it.
Awesome. Okay, this is going to go back more to the you because I'm fascinated. So when we think about this idea of like living in the mystery, really allowing like your internal life to like be that reflection, that guide, and like just, I feel like what we're speaking of is like the internal is first for you.
I don't see it. I don't see it different. I think that I have more like control of like the landscape internally, and that it's not separate from the outside.
Okay. So it really is like, it's that permeation between the two.
Yeah.
So with this in mind, having been surviving in the Matrix, what resistance have you felt? And do you feel like because we're in this moment, like this quarantine, a lot of us like are unemployed, like because we've had this like kind of amazing pause, have you been able to lean more into living that way?
Into the internal?
Yeah, like living in your mystery, like less I don't know if you've ever, I have suffered from being like raised by like produce, and that was like my psychology until recently when Nada came in. So I don't know if you ever had to break out of the matrix or if you always felt like you were sidebarring it. Like, what's your relationship with that?
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, Corona was like, right, a blessing in disguise, let's say. I mean, there's so many harrowing things about it, but it kind of like destroyed all power structures, hierarchies. Everyone is just like on the same level of threat. So yeah, there was some kind of relief. And also maybe more time to figure out spend more time with my unconscious mind, and not be in the rat race of like, well, I don't know, I'm like still like, how do I pay rent at the end of the month? And that's still up for grabs, but like, it's beautiful that perhaps I don't feel alone in it anymore. So yeah, it's interesting, like in all like, famous plays, the characters that are most interesting are the ones that like have, all this time to actually like go into their psychology, compared to like the characters who are so busy like trying to just like eat and find shelter, because the internal world is just so complex and there's so many stories to be told about it.
Yes.
So I feel like we're all kind of living these dramas right now.
We're all becoming much more interesting too, is what I'm hearing, which is important for me because we looked at the birthday book, and my week is the week of charm, and Blair's is the week of freedom. So charm is important to me, and like you can't get charm without being like an interesting human, and everyone's having interesting conversations now. Thank fucking God. Talking about the real shit, really asking questions.
Yeah.
Okay, I love this because we're so aligned right now. Like, truly, my darling, like, all I'm thinking about is, like, how important it is to not know, and that's, like, your fucking fruit. So thank you for passing the key to me and to the whole cult community.
Absolutely.
So speaking of the mystery, I just got a fairy deck, and I'm obsessed. I love. Would you like me to pull a fairy card to close our session?
Please, yes.
Okay, great.
Please, thank you.
Okay, great. I love it. Okay. We got, I can't read it. The lame? What does that say?
What does it mean, the lame?
The lame.
Is it a naked woman sitting on a tree?
Yeah, it's a naked woman sitting on a tree, man. And I love her. She's just like wondering. Like, that's what we're talking about, like sitting and wondering and contemplating.
That tree looks happy.
Totally. He's got a good view.
This is a great, like, return to nature kind of message, maybe.
Yeah. And like and like it's good to sit and contemplate and think. Like, that's not doing nothing. That's doing a lot. Yeah. Well, my darling, any clothing. Well, I list when I'm like about to channel Brava, because she makes fun of me. Anything and by way of closing, by way of saying lahayim and goodbye and good night and goodbye and hello, because we're always, there's no polarities. Is there any final message that you would like to share in terms of, from your vantage point, in your nexus point right now, an offering to, maybe let's say an offering to pass the key? What would your invitation be to like pass the key right now?
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think, I feel like what's going on right now is that everyone's realizing their kind of unconscious patterns, especially collectively. And like the brain does that, it's so high functioning that once we do something repetitively, it like just stores it in our unconscious so that it can do all the other great things it does. But then, it's like 3% of our brain is like conscious then at this point. So I think it's good to remember that like your conscious self will always play second fiddle to your unconsciousness, and the necessity of like getting to know that part of you that's not that 3%. Because it will run your life.
I love that. And then slash on the other side, there's so much to be explored and so much mystery to be uncovered and played with.
Yeah.
Oh, what a beautiful message. Thank you.
Thank you.
How can we get obsessed with you? What should people be following? How can they find you all over the world, internets of the world?
Yeah, I'm at Sisterbride on Instagram. My website is sisterbride.com. I'm teaching classes. I do astrological life coaching and make a lot of art. So that's where you can find that.
I love it.
Yeah.
We'll get obsessed, everybody. You should be. Thank you so much for your beautiful offerings. And like, let's just keep wondering. Let's keep leaning into that magic, Brava babies. All right. Goodbye, Boo.
Bye, guys. Be well.